The fallout continues from what many are calling, quote, heavy-handed policing during the Ferguson, Missouri protests. There are reports that one police officer resigned and another has been fired. This follows the filing of a federal lawsuit Thursday against the police and governments of Ferguson and St. Louis County. The group Black Lawyers for Justice filed the suit on behalf of 5 protesters who allege that authorities used excessive force. Arise News contributor Shahan Ramkissoon joins us with more on that. Shahan?
That's right, Debbie. $40 million, US dollars rather, is what 5 Ferguson residents are seeking. Simply put, they say their constitutional rights were violated and officers should not get away with it. In a city where racial tensions were simmering, Michael Brown's killing was the tipping point. Violent protests ensued with locals demanding answers from authorities about why a white officer shot and killed the unarmed teenager. Police clashed with demonstrators and scores were arrested. The so-called Ferguson 5 now claim police were heavy-handed and have gone to court.
If they won't police the people right, then we have to bankrupt them. Yes, sir. If they won't conduct their actions right here in this county and in the city of Ferguson, then they will have to be taught a painful economic lesson.
Some allege police arrested them in fast food restaurants when they were not protesting.
One of the officers threw me to the ground.
Others claim they were hit with rubber bullets and, quote, racial slurs. In court papers filed, they claim police used excessive force, conducted unwarranted arrests, and made illegal search and seizures. The group is now demanding a jury trial for this federal lawsuit and say they are not going to back down. Well, the Ferguson Police Department would not comment on this suit. When I contacted them, they directed me to the city of Ferguson, where all calls are being directed to a voicemail.
Well, surprise, surprise about that. Of course, the breaking news today is about this one officer who has resigned. Sounds like he was given the opportunity to resign, as well as one that was fired. Give us some more details about that.
Well, this is the officer who was actually called in from a different city to come in for demonstrators during the past 2 weeks or so. And he very brazenly held a firearm at protesters, and there was actually a video clip that went really viral of this officer doing that, even though the protester was telling him to put his firearm down. There was an internal investigation there, and they said he served for 20 years, so they felt the right thing to do was just simply let him go, and he resigned. And the other officer was sacked because he made derogatory comments during the protests. And I'm going to read one to you. He said on his Facebook page, he put this, saying that the protesters should be put down like rabid dogs. Now, after an investigation, of course, the city said that that did not reflect its views, and they said that he should be fired.
Yeah, it's important to note that he did express remorse and apologize for that. But as I like to say that my grandmother said all the time that I was growing up, he really should have known better about that. Any reaction to from the group that is bringing this lawsuit on behalf of these 5 that say that they were brutalized during this protest? Any reaction to this resignation and firing?
No reaction just yet. I mean, I tried contacting them immediately after this news broke, which was just a couple of hours ago, maybe an hour or so ago, and they haven't really reacted at all to this, not on their page, on their website, and not telephonically. But I'm sure they're going to say that this proves their point, that officers were really excessive with force, especially since the one officer resigned, basically accepting the fact that he was wrong. And in terms of just overall reaction in Ferguson, we're still waiting to see how residents feel about it. This will be something that residents would likely to be happy with, saying that, from the start, that they did not believe police had to use such force on them because they were simply protesting.
Do you know anything about this, Shahan? And that is, this lawsuit was filed in the federal court, the U.S. District Court in the Eastern District of Missouri. What the penalties might be if the parties named were found guilty of the charges of them?
Well, it really does depend who. We've had really other cases in New York, for instance, where the police department was sued for millions because of what police officers did. But you can't really hold a police officer, you can't really sue an individual police officer, which is what's been done in this court case and in the application for the court case. So the city, perhaps, can actually get sued here, but not the individual officers, which is what they're seeking. $40 million. I keep saying rand, sorry, because I'm from South Africa.
That would be a lot of dollars if it were 40 million rand. But let me ask you this. There are 5 complainants in this suit. A chance that group might grow? Might this become a class?
Yeah, definitely. When I spoke to them about whether it could be a class suit eventually, they said yes. It's currently known as the Ferguson 5. They've coined a phrase here. But they say that when the trial is actually likely to start, they could have many more people, and that's when they'll decide whether it should be a class action or not.
Yeah, and we'll see if there's any other evidence like that viral video of that police officer pointing a weapon at a protester. It's absolutely outrageous. Shahan Ramkissoon, thank you very much.